When I came home, my kids plastered the house with pictures of me and my boss to expose me cheating. Greetings, Reddit buddies. Hey everyone, how's it going? I haven't logged onto this platform in quite some time. Crazy stuff happens in life. Just when we think we have everything under control, something happens and it turns out to be a complete and utter surprise, leaving us to wonder what on earth happened to us. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Lucy. I'm a female aged 37 years and was married to my husband Rob for 12 years. We have two twin boys, Mark and Jake. Both are aged 11 years. Today I want to share how my own flesh and blood betrayed me. I mean, it's astonishing how you raise your children just for them to grow up and snatch the little joy life has finally given to you. That's exactly what happened to me. Allow me to share how these little monsters made me homeless. So here's the deal. I met my husband at a party. I was drunk as hell and he looked good. We hooked up. It was just a one-night stand initially because I wasn't looking for a relationship back then. I just wanted to get sloshed at parties with my friends and enjoy my youth. But I really had a good time in bed with Rob, so when he asked me out again, I was like, yeah, why not? It was not a relationship, but more a friends with benefits sort of situation. We both were having fun, but that fun didn't last long because even though we always used protection, I got pregnant and that too with twins. When I told this to Rob, he was excited. He was 28 years old at that time and financially stable in life. He worked at an accountancy firm. He told me that he had feelings for me and he would love to start a life with me. So that's how, ladies, gentlemen, I got in this marriage and became a mother at 25 years old. See, this wasn't my original plan, but then when life gives you lemons, you make a lemonade. If Rob was happy to take care of me and our family, I wasn't stupid enough to let it go. In this economy, it was hard to find a guy who would buy me dinner, so I was ready to be a wife to Rob and let him take care of everything. The ladies will understand what I'm saying. So yeah, we got married and gave birth to twin boys. At that time, wow, I got everything in life, but now when I know what these monsters were capable of, I'm thinking it was a mistake to bring them into this world in the first place. After the twins were born, Rob became this goody-good guy. Like he was being so good and taking care of everything nicely that it started to get on my nerves. I needed the spice in my life, but he was being the opposite of that. Every time we were doing the deed together, he used to go so gentle on me, saying all that shit about me having given birth and all. I was so annoyed with him. I started feeling suffocated in that relationship. I wanted fun and spice. I wasn't that old to live like I was living with my husband and two kids. I realized soon after marriage that this was a mistake, but what was done was done. I didn't want to take extreme measures like divorce and all that. Rob was doing everything in this marriage. He was providing for us, taking care of the kids, and even sharing the chores. I wasn't giving up all that just to become a single mother and do everything by myself. I wasn't that stupid. I was just thinking if there was a middle way and finally figured out one. I could have my marriage and also have some much-needed pleasure the way I wanted. It wasn't going to hurt anyone because I was going to make sure that Rob never finds out. I started making excuses to Rob that, hey, I'm going out with my girlfriends for a spa or something. And being the kind man that he was, he would always let me. And this is where I used to have random hookups with men. I made sure that I never saw them again. Random one-night stands wasn't going to hurt anyone. I made sure that I always made the dudes use protection. I wasn't taking any chances. It was going well. I started having a better mood again. My kids were growing up well. My marriage was great. I had no reasons to complain about Rob's ways in bed because I had found a solution to that. We were all happy. When my boys turned 5, I told Rob that I want to work again. He was happy with my decision. I found a job in a hotel. I'm a receptionist, by the way. So yeah, everything was going well like I said. I was having random hookups without any strings attached. Don't judge me yet. It wasn't like I didn't love Rob. I loved my husband, but I wanted some things which he wasn't giving me, so I took care of that by myself. I think I did a decent job of protecting his heart because he didn't find out about my getting on with random dudes for so long, but then someone might have cursed me because it went all downhill. Last year, my boss retired. He was an old man in his 70s. It was a wonder he lasted this long in this job. In his place came a young guy, I mean not a child, but still around my age. He was good-looking and smart. I developed an instant crush on him. Me and my friend Chrissy both. Who is Chrissy now, you may wonder? Chrissy is my friend from work. She works as a housekeeping supervisor in the same hotel. Well, she was my friend. Now she's just a bitch to me. You'll get to know why. Me and Chrissy used to fawn over our new boss because he was just so good-looking. Chrissy even joked about how we could do a threesome together. We laughed at it because a really long time. We both knew that it was just a silly crush. He was way out of our league. Well, way out of Chrissy's league. I knew that I could have him if I wanted to, but I wasn't going to do anything about it because A, he was my boss, and B, I was married. The second point wasn't that strong because of my extracurricular activities, but I still thought it would be weird to have anything going with him. And most importantly, C, that he wouldn't be interested in a woman who was married and mother of two. All of my reasons made lots of sense until he started flirting with me. I didn't expect a guy like that flirting with me even after knowing my marital status. But nothing about me stopped him flirting for me. I also flirted back with him. I thought it was just all fun and nothing serious. But for some reason I didn't tell this to Chrissy because I thought she might feel bad and I felt I was violating some girl code or something, but whatever, let a girl have some fun. One day he called me to his cabin and started flirting with me unabashedly. He told me how he has a wife, but he cannot stop thinking about me. This made me feel so good. I told him that I felt the same, that I couldn't get him out of my head. And the next thing I know, he was kissing me. Yes, guy, he was kissing me. And that's how our little love affair started. We started getting along when there was no one around. My darling husband never had a problem with my schedule, so it was working out really well for us. It was also a good break from getting random hookups every now and then. It was nice to get it from one man, or well, two if we are being technical. To be very honest, I never saw there was anything wrong with my ways. Noon is perfect, and I'm definitely not, but we all live only once, and I didn't want to spend my life suffocating and thinking about what I could have had. So I decided to get it. Yeah, so everything was going really well. We usually used to get together in any hotel room which was not occupied at the time. We were having lots of fun together. We formed a pattern where he would text me the room number and the time, and we would meet at that time. We had a mutual understanding that everything between us was just physical. I was only emotionally attached to my husband, that's all. He was the father of my children, after all. One day when I was coming out of the hotel room after doing the deed, I ran into Chrissy. She asked me what I was doing inside the room, and I was about to create some excuse, but she looked behind my back, and we both saw our boss getting out of the same room. I was out of words. The expression on her face made it extremely obvious that she has caught what's going on between us. Before I could offer an explanation to her, she simply ran away from there. I followed her and tried to explain to her, but she wouldn't listen to any of it. She was telling me that I broke her trust and all that jazz. She claimed that I stole the guy she finally liked, and honestly, I felt that was a bit of exaggeration. Yes, Chrissy didn't usually like many guys, hence why she was single. And also, yeah, she did show interest in him, but it wasn't like anything was going to happen between them. However, I didn't say any of this to her face. She yelled at me for a good 5 minutes and then left. Now, I wasn't even interested in explaining anything to her. It wasn't like she was paying my bills or anything. I could live with one less friend in my life. So I decided to let it go. Now that I think about it, it was a pretty big mistake. I wasn't going to end my affair to protect Chrissy's feelings. They were already hurt. We still kept seeing each other. But one day when I came to work in the morning, I saw an envelope waiting for me. I was confused because who the hell was sending me documents? I opened it and got the freaking worst shock of my life. It was pictures of me getting intimate with my boss. I was naked and all over him in these pictures. I couldn't think straight. I had not even in my wildest dreams imagined this to happen to me. I was still trying to think who the hell was behind this when a note fell from the envelope. I picked it up and got another shock. It said "Karma's a bitch," and behind it was Chrissy's name signing off. What the hell was wrong with this woman? Who does this just for a stupid crush? I didn't have time to think how she got these, but it was obvious. She was the supervisor of housekeeping staff. She must have done something to get the camera in our room, but F that. Now wasn't the time to think all that. I ran to my boss's cabin, but he wasn't there. It was sort of shocking because he always came on time. I decided to call him and called his number. It was continuously busy. I dialed him 3-4 times, but nothing happened. I rushed home with the envelope because I couldn't let it be here. Before I could leave, Chrissy came to me and gave me a knowing smile. She taunted me about why I'm looking so red and went her way. I decided to deal with her later and then went home. I knew that my husband and kids weren't going to be there, so no one was going to ask me what I was doing here. I got home and quickly parked outside. I then rushed to my bedroom and put the envelope in my Almira. I needed to think about what I was going to do with Chrissy. Rob never checked or even opened my Almira, so it was a safe coast. I went to the kitchen to get some water and made a decision to confront Chrissy at work. She was going to know who she messed up with. I went back to work after that. I made a quick stop at my boss's cabin, but he still hadn't come. I called him again only to get the same response. I needed to talk to him. He was in those pictures as well. But he has gone MIA. I went to see Chrissy, but found out that she had gone somewhere. I thought that if she was running away from me, it was futile because I was going to teach her a lesson very soon. I completed my shift and then went back home hoping to get some peace from the chaos going on in my head. I thought it was an absolute bad day, but what I saw at home ruined my entire life. All the pictures from the envelope were plastered in our home. I think I stopped breathing after I saw that. My head started spinning and my eyes didn't blink at all. My kids stood in front of me looking at me with such disgust that I couldn't bear it. When I finally whispered to them, "Who did this?" they looked at each other and told me they did it themselves. Before I could even ask why on earth would they do it, or even remove them from every surface, my husband entered the house. I wanted to disappear at that point of time. I spent years avoiding this exact situation, and yet here I was. All because of these demon children and Chrissy. Rob took his sweet time to process everything. I was preparing my speech of how I was going to seek his forgiveness and all that, but he beat me to that. But the person who spoke wasn't Rob. I mean, it was Rob speaking, but it wasn't like him at all. He was so angry that it made me scared. He asked what the F was going on in his house. Both kids looked at each other and then decided to tell him that they went to our room to find some stationery. They thought we might have kept it in our drawers in Elmira, but they actually found an envelope with all these pictures. These little childs from hell. They kept talking about how they didn't see me as their mommy anymore, but like a dirty lady, and they wanted their daddy to know everything. And so before I could hide the envelope, they got together and plastered all the pictures in the house. Rob was so patient. He told the kids to go to their room and that we needed to talk. I didn't think there was much to hide after what they have seen already, but whatever. It was better to beg for forgiveness alone. As soon as the kids were out of the room, I started speaking. I was telling him about how it was a one-time mistake, when he shushed me with a look that was so lethal. He came closer to me and held me by my hair. He asked me to tell him the truth without any delay, or I won't like what's going to come next. Yes, guys, he did that. Can you believe him? I was so scared that I started blabbering everything. His anger didn't cool off by the end of it. Instead, he got even more livid. He pushed me on the floor and then told me that I liked spice, so he was going to make everything spicy for me. I honestly didn't even recognize that man. He had always been so caring and loving to his family, I couldn't believe it was the same man. He then stood there and called his lawyer. He told them that he wanted my name removed from all his assets and that to file for divorce along with complete custody of our boys. I was kneeling down on the floor and kept telling him how sorry I was, but it all fell on deaf ears. After his call, he looked at me once and told me that he felt dirty because of me, and that he was disgusted by me. He said that he hoped it was worth it what I did behind his back because he was going to make me pay for it all my life. I knew he wasn't bluffing or anything, because this was the first time I had seen this man this angry. He practically threw me out of that house after that. I didn't know what to do, so I went to work, but my boss wasn't there, but Chrissy was. She told me that she had sent an envelope to his wife too. His absence made complete sense after that. I didn't have anything to say to Chrissy either. I spent the night at the hotel and then started looking for an apartment, but my husband had blacklisted me in the entire town. I even got fired from my job. I knew this was coming since his wife was aware now. I had to come back to my parents' house. It has been more than 2 months since that day. As an almost 40-year-old woman, it doesn't feel good to live with your parents, but whatever. My father told me that I'm a sick woman and won't even look at me. The divorce proceedings are going on. My kids don't want to look at me. My husband is making sure that I get nothing, and I think he's going to succeed at that. My mother thinks that I should start therapy because I seriously need help. Her words, not mine. I'm sharing it here so I can get some unbiased perspective from you all. You guys tell me what you think. What should I do now?